Hello everyone, welcome to the session. I hope all of you are doing well today. Hi Pallavi, hello Aniket, welcome to the session. How are you? Good to see all of you join in. Hello Pallavi, good evening. Hi Aniket, good evening. Hello Abhishek. Hi Darklight, welcome to the session. How are all of you doing? Hello, welcome to the session everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening, guys. I'm good. I'm doing great. So wonderful. Good to see all of you join in. So I hope that all of you have come with questions prepared. We have an IIM Trichy student here with us today, and she'll be joining us shortly. And you can ask her all the questions that you want. So last time we had Aditya, and he was one who came with experience, and he was the one who, engineering background se tha. तो आपको वो perspective मिला, but a lot of you have questions like what if you're a fresher or what if you're not an engineering student, then what are your chances of getting into IIMs or top colleges and how exactly can you do that? So all of that will be covered in today's session. So welcome to the session everyone. Chalo, let's get started. So I want, first of all, guys, let me take you over through the basics. I want all of you to be a part of the group Unacademy _ Ritu Dudhoria. Hello, Dia. Good evening. Welcome to the session. I want all of you to be a part of the group Unacademy _ Ritu Dudhoria without fail. ठीक है, जब आप ये group join करते हो, guys, you get all the links, all the guidance, session updates, जितना भी आपको help और support चाहिए, वो आपको इस group पे मिलता है. So without fail, I want all of you to be a part of the group Unacademy _ Ritu Dudhoria. Now, guys, the reason why you're there in today's session is because you need mentorship. It's because you need guidance, mentorship. Because as a CAT student, hello couple, most of us, require a lot of, पहले तो हमको subject matter की preparation भी चाहिए. उसके साथ साथ, guys, CAT is such an exam because it happens once a year. The importance of the exam is so heightened that you need guidance when it comes to, mocks as well. आपको guidance चाहिए strategy sessions के perspective से, मॉक्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से, टाइम मैनेजमेंट के पर्सपेक्टिव से, नर्व्स को कैसे हैंडल करने उसके पर्सपेक्टिव से. सो फॉर दिस इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू आर अ पार्ट ऑफ अ करिकुलम. एंड इवन आज की जो हमारी गेस्ट है, राइट, सो Janita, she will also stress on the same thing. So it's very important that all of you take coaching. You're a part of a structured batch for which every single one of you, I want you to apply the code Ritu MBA and join in. Okay. So without fail, guys, don't forget to apply the code Ritu MBA. You can also take the iconic subscription. Hi, Ankit. Hello, Pallavi. Hi, Nupur. Hi, Kapil. Welcome to the session. Good to see all of you. Yes, Pallavi. I've been telling Dia since a lot. I'm sure, Dia, the day probably you come in one of the Achiever session, I can see every single one of your, friends and our regular students attending it. So we hope to see you soon as well. Okay, but guys, this is something that I want you to, I want you all to be a part of next year's Achievers Meet. Uske baad, like for example, next year I should say, okay, Ankit and I am this, student, and Pallavi and Nupur and Kapil and Ishan and all of that. So guys, that's why please make sure that all of you are a part of the batch. You take the subscription, and when you take the iconic subscription, you get the feature of one-on-one mentorship. So when I say one-on-one mentorship, guys, your mentors are top B school graduates, and just as Sujanita who's joining, or that they've all passed out from top B schools, and they will help you and guide you and help you, reach that coveted seat. Yes, of course, Surajit. I'm sure that I'll be I'll be inviting all of you soon. Okay. So guys, don't forget to apply the code Ritu MBA. So जब आप plus classes लेते हो, तब आपको live classes, weekly test, study materials ये सब मिलता है. And when you take the iconic subscription, you get all of these features. But as I mentioned, you get one-on-one live mentorship ka benefit. Okay. So guys, before Sujanita joins us, I have a couple of what are the kinds of questions, or what is the kind of guidance that you're looking for. Okay, I want you to type in the chat box कि आपको CAT को लेकर या IIM को लेकर या top B schools को लेकर क्या questions है, so that I can bring on more achievers as well, and they will, when we say it's good. I mean, you hear us every day in class, so sometimes it's good to get that perspective as well. So can you tell me कि आप लोगों के क्या questions और क्या doubts है, and which are the institutes that you want me to, you want me to invite, like pull out my students from and get them on screen here so that you can ask them. Acha, so Pallavi, she's not your batch ki student. Okay. Right. So, by the way, guys, please make sure that if you have any doubts regarding subscription, to please call up this number. Okay. And don't forget to apply the code Ritu MBA when you take the subscription. Come on, guys. So, आपके क्या questions है? Generally, आप क्या areas पे, you want guidance. एक तो preparation को लेकर है, जिसके ऊपर, I keep handling a lot of AMA sessions with you. Apart from that, regarding colleges and regarding profile building or regarding how life at these B schools is, what are your general questions? Yes, Pallavi, she's right now studying in IIM Trichy. Okay, academic grades, the importance of academic grades. Correct, dear, do shoot this question. Okay, fun at IIM. Okay, so guys, Sujanita will join us shortly. She's running a couple of minutes late. Okay, she will join us shortly. Till then, you can post your questions here. Profile building pay. Okay. Yes, so academics, a lot of students have this misconception कि अगर हमारे acads इतने great नहीं है, can we still get into it? Okay, this is one of the first questions that I'll keep in mind to pose. Profile building, change in environment, interview process. Great question, Ishan. What are the common questions that are asked? How exactly can you prepare yourself for it? How difficult it is? Interview se regarding questions hai aapke. Okay, right. So guys, keep posting your questions in. How to prepare for the IIMs, of course. So keep posting your questions, guys. Maharashtra CT का बैच शुरू हो चुका है, तो ये आपका लास्ट चांस है to get into an MBA college in 2022. Okay, and guys, please make sure that all of you are writing the combat tomorrow. जिन्होंने अभी तक क्लास का सब्सक्रिप्शन नहीं लिया है, ठीक है, जल्दी से लो. ओके, तो उसके लिए आपको कॉम्बैट का स्कॉलरशिप डेफिनेटली हेल्प करेगा. ओके, सो विदाउट फेल गाइस, आई वांट यू टू take the combat tomorrow. It starts at 12 noon. Okay, without fail, 12 noon, 60 minutes, 30 questions, and you can see screen पर. I'm sure जो मैं बोल रही हूँ वो आपको ज्यादा नहीं सुन रहा होगा, पर जो आपको स्क्रीन पे प्राइजेस दिख रहे हैं वो आप ज्यादा देख रहे होंगे, right? So please make sure that all of you give the combat DILR के preparation. Okay. Right, wonderful. So we'll have Sujanita here. 1 minute. Let me just switch over. Yes, hi Sujanita. You can just go ahead and unmute yourself. Just unmute yourself in the video. So guys, we have Sujanita here. Okay, yes, I'm sure. So I'll post all of these questions. Okay, just give me a minute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Hi, Sujanita, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Okay, welcome to the session. So all the learners, this is Sujanita here from IIM Trichy. And thank you, Sujanita, for stepping in and being here and being present here. It's so gracious of you to come in and give the guidance, necessary guidance to all our students. So yes, so Sujanita, can you see the comments of the students? I've shared a link with you. Just click on it and you can see the live session in progress as well.
Yeah, okay, just give me 1 second.
Yes. Right. So guys, I'm sure regarding time management as well, done, Ankit. Okay, so Sujanita, learners are very excited to have you here and I have their questions at hand and I'm sure you'll answer them as well. Okay, so let's get started. So the first question, Sujanita, is I would like you to tell a little bit about yourself to the students because most of them have this question about profile. You know, what kind of profiles do IIMs usually prefer, or what kind of profiles, you know, how they can make their profile a little stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your academic background and your sports background. This is something that I would like, all the students would be very interested to hear about. So your sports background and how exactly did you make the journey to IIM Trichy? Go ahead, Sujata.
Right. So I studied in PSBB in Chennai. So I completed my 10th and 12th there. So in 10th, I got a CGPA 10, and in 12th, I got a 94.6%. After that, I pursued a bachelor's in commerce in MOP Vaishnav, which is basically Madras University affiliated. And there I completed my graduation with a GPA of 8.423. And so I'm also an international artistic skater. So I have been skating for the last 12 years, and I am an Asian medalist. I've represented the country 4 times, twice at the World Championship, once at the Asian Ice Championship, and once at the Asian uh, Roller Skating Championship, where of course I won the bronze medal. I'm also a national champion. I have 9 national medals and like more than 70 district and state level medals to my name. Besides that, I'm also a musician. So I'm a trained Carnatic singer, and I'm also a writer. I've held positions of responsibility as magazine editor and other such roles as such. Yeah. So that's like just a small brief of me. Or like,
But that's and you can see the students' reaction. I think they're blown away by your profile. So that's a wonderful, wonderful profile. So can you tell us like what got you, like why MBA? Why did you decide to do an MBA? And this is also a common question that a lot of you would have been asked at a lot of interviews as well. So considering your international skating career and why did you decide to go down the MBA route?
So for me, it was more about I knew that skating would not be like my entire life. Like it was always a passion of mine. I definitely will always cherish that time of my life and like love it. But I always knew that I wanted to do something more and like pursue something different. And like something that really intrigued me was finance and accounting. So in 11th grade, I took the commerce stream. So I got really interested in like commerce and like accounting especially. So I thought that that would be an interesting career to pursue. So that's why I thought I could go for an MBA. I didn't want to do a CA or a CFA because I thought this would be a more like a holistic experience, because of course the first thing with an MBA is like the kind of exposure, the kind of network that you get when you interact with people from such diverse backgrounds. I think like that experience that an MBA gives you is really life changing.
Okay, that's really great. Yes, so you can see our learners are very excited and blown away by your profile. So can you tell me how was your CAT preparation journey? So how much time did you take for the preparation? How exactly did you go about the preparation? What were your strengths? What were your weaknesses? How exactly did you cope with them? What are things that they should remember? Like mocks are important, or can you take us through your CAT preparation journey?
Right. So I started preparing for CAT so I was attempting CAT 2020. So I started preparing in June 2019. I had started preparing from a very long time back because I also had to balance my skating career back then, because I was still pursuing international competitions and training abroad and all of that. So I had to try to I had to start really early with all of the preparation, because I had to give it enough time while also giving, my college enough time and also giving skating and this. So I started off with like completing all of the quants sections, just trying to learn all of those. Like the institute where I went to, they really wanted to focus on the quantitative aptitude section, of course. And after that, I started focusing on LR&D. I have a pretty good base in verbal because of my writing background, and of course, I'm an avid reader. So I think that's very important, to be a really to have an interest in reading and like wanting to read more, because that is something that really helped me with the verbal ability section. Like I was able to like complete that section with like time to go back and check all of my answers, which a lot of people don't have, because they read a little slowly. But I've been reading since I was like 4 years old. So like I have that habit to like just like zip through like those reading comprehensions. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So something that we should remember is that, like they did focus a lot on quants, and that kind of is not like the only thing, because of course all three sections have equal weightage. So we have to kind of like split up our time equally. I started attempting mocks, I think maybe 6 months before the final exam. So I was attempting mocks for quite a while. Yeah. Until like, and also like any section that I was like a little doubtful or something, I would go back and look at those questions, revise them, and see how I could like try to understand that particular concept or apply it in like future papers or whatever I attempt.
Sure. Okay, that's really great. And hi, Rohit. Welcome to the session. How do place? Okay, we have a question from the learners as well. So we'll continue. I'll post a lot of questions from the learners as well. There are two questions. One is by Ishan, which is LRDI. How does one start with LRDI? That's one section which is which has been tough over the years, especially last year. In a couple of slots, the LRDI section was really tough.
Right.
So for LRDI, how did you go about your preparation? And we have a hi Rohit. How do final placements for freshers and experienced students vary? And what are the chances we get a good PPO? Okay, so you can take up both the questions.
Right. Okay. So for the LRDI thing, I think it's, so I started off with, I'm not able to recall like the textbook that I used, but you start off with very, very basic questions and just start building your way up to what to what like the level that they work at in the exams. Like but what you have to remember is you can't waste time on just like one question for too long. Like if you spend more than 10 minutes on one question, it's time to leave it and go to the next one, because the more time you spend on that one question, you're going to get even more worked up, you're going to get flustered, and you're not going to be able to solve any other questions. So like one important thing is to like just try to like develop that habit of like, if it's not working, leave it and go to the next one, because you don't have much time. And you always and there are always at least 2 easy sets out of the 6 sets that you get. I'm not sure how the system has changed since I attempted the paper, but I think that there's at least 1 or 2 easy sets that you can attempt out of the given sets. And when it comes to the final placements and stuff, so I'm still in my first year and I'm not at liberty to disclose any such details of like placements and stuff, but I can just say that both freshers and experienced people do have good opportunity. It just depends on the college that you go to and the kind of companies that they're able to bring in. There is nothing like experienced people get better placements or like that freshers get better placements. It really just depends on what the company wants. That's all I've observed so far.
Okay, great. And yes, so that question was from Rohit, who's a student of mine, and now he's in IIM Sambalpur. So hope to have you also in a session soon, Rohit, the Achievers Meet Ka session. Okay, the next question that I want to ask you, and a lot of students have on their mind as well. So, Janita, see, I understand that, a lot of students are working or a lot of students are studying. You kind of were doing both, like you were studying and at the same time that, you also had a very interesting sports career. So how did you find the time to, how did you manage, like how would a typical week in your life look like while you were preparing for CAT? So how did you manage your college? How did you manage your, the coaching for CAT examination and your sporting career and manage to get into an IIM? So how did you kind of slot that?
So I think a typical week in my life was I would spend at least 4 to 5 hours a day training. So like 2 hours in the morning, 2 to 3 hours in the evening. That was like my regular schedule. My college hours were very, yeah.
Okay, so this
is for the sports. So when it came to my college timings, it was pretty limited. So I went to a day college which ended at about 1 p.m. So my day was kind of free from after like lunch or so. So after lunch, I would sit and study for at least 2 to 3 hours for CAT. And then after coming back from training in the night, I would spend at least an hour reading or like just looking up some LRDI questions. That was kind of how it typically went. I wouldn't say that I spent like hours and hours studying, but when I studied very effectively. I think that is more important, because when you spend like 10 to 12 hours sitting and studying about like one particular concept or one particular thing, you get very exhausted, and that's not going to help you in any way. When you study, you have to like just make sure that you have gained something from that session, however short that session is. And that will make a difference when you're giving the final exam.
Okay, that's true. So you focus more on the quality of studying rather than the hours per se.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and weekends, would you were reserved for mocks, sectionals, practice exercises, more so of that?
So I never, like, it was not like my weekends were reserved for that. I would just attempt mocks when I wanted to. I never had a fixed schedule, like this is when I'm going to attempt mocks, this is when I'm going to attempt this, that. It was just pretty, it was pretty flexible, my schedule. I would just choose it based on what I wanted to. But I think having like a fixed timetable would also be helpful. I think if I'd had like given myself a fixed timetable, I would have done a little better than what I had done so far. But again, it's too late to complain about any of that.
Okay, but then I think, one thing that you had was probably discipline. Like you would sit down, you would give mocks, even though it was not at a designated time, but you did make sure that you do that. So I think a
Right.
disciplined schedule is very important.
Definitely. You have to make sure that you do something for that day, no matter how small it is. Even if it's just like you're reading a couple of articles for like a few hours,
Yeah.
do that. Just make sure that you do it properly. That is what is important. That discipline to like do something each day, that makes a difference.
Okay, great. I'll take up two questions specifically. One is by Verma. How does work experience help in GDP? Okay, regarding your IIM Trichy class right now, how would you say, like, does a work experience person have an advantage or an edge over, let's say, a fresher, even in terms of classwork or in terms of understanding or in terms of your dynamics in the class, and what's the kind of division that you've seen at IIM Trichy, work experience versus freshers? Do freshers get an equal opportunity?
So what I have observed so far is in Trichy, like the ratio of like freshers to work experience people is like pretty decent compared to like most other places. Like I think we have at least 30% freshers in my batch, and
Okay.
we have like a very like we don't have any kind of like difference like this person is a fresher, they're a work experience. Like there is no difference when it comes to like the class work or any activities or any such thing. Like even when it comes to like clubs and committee selections, it was very very fair, completely based on that person's merit. And when it comes to like GDPI and any of that work experience, it definitely adds to the resume, but it is not like the only thing that makes that like make you stand out with the interviewers or like whoever it is, like with the panel. Like work experience, as long whatever you put in your resume, you should know, you should know enough to answer it in like extreme detail. Because
Correct.
if you put something that you're not very like confident and you just add it to like spruce up your resume, and you're not able to answer the question in interview, that gives a very bad impression.
True.
So like having work experience, okay, it does add like the quality that you have the corporate, like you've been in the corporate culture and all of that. But end of the day, like fresher work experience person, it doesn't make a difference when you come here. We're all in at the same starting level here.
Okay, so probably in terms of profile, initially, in order to add value to your profile, a work experience can help. But once you're in there, it does not. Everybody gets an equal ground.
Completely equal chances here.
Done. Okay, can you take us through your Okay, which were the colleges that you got calls from, and what were the interview questions that you were asked by the IIMs?
Right. So I actually applied to very few IIMs, and I only got the call from IIM Trichy. Besides that, I got calls from Great Lakes, SPJ, as SPJ and XLRI, and Symbiosis. These are the only 4 colleges that I applied to. I didn't really go too wild with like the application process and everything.
True.
So the biggest question that a lot of them would ask me is like, how did skating like shape you as a person? Like how did it change your like career path, and like why are you leaving that to come to an MBA?
True.
And like I also have I did a 6-month internship at a financial consultancy firm in Chennai. So they also asked a lot of questions about that, what kind of work I did, how that kind of like helped me build up so I want to go into the finance domain. So
True.
like, they would ask me about like how this particular internship or or the project that I worked on, how did that help you to like come to this decision? All of those kind of questions. And when it comes to what else was it? Interview questions, of course, they would. So IIMs, they have this funny quirk where they like to ask you questions like, what does your name mean? Like they will look at like the address that is listed and ask you like, what does this mean? Like how is this like related to your life? Like a question that I was asked to prepare on is, what does my name mean, and how does it relate to your personality right now?
Oh, that's a very interesting question.
Pretty interesting question. They ask all these like quirky questions because I mean, of course, they also get bored, right? They want to have like some fun, just like Yeah, I was also asked to prepare, like, if they ask you to sing or dance in the interview, you should be like prepared to do that. And hmm,
Okay.
right. So I had actually interviewed for IIM Indoors, the 5-year program, I think a couple of years ago. And for that, they asked me one. So I was very, very into accountancy back then. I still am, of course. So they asked me this one question, which was kind of very funny. I want to share this with you. So they were
Sure.
like, "You are a like the accountant at a local kirana store, and you are like tallying the money for that day. Suddenly, like a harsh wind blows, and a 2,000 rupee note flies out onto the street. As you chase after it, you see that a cow has eaten that note. So how will you
Okay.
account for this?"
That's so okay.
Pretty
So
random. Everything I started saying stuff like, lost by cow and all of that. But I
Acha,
don't
because
think
you
they
said that
expect.
you have a flair for accounting, so they asked you like
How will
an
you
out of
account
box.
for this? So anything that you mention in interview, you have to be very sure you can answer questions about that.
Okay.
If you say you like accounting, they will ask you like completely into that. If you say that you've been in you've been investing in stocks, they will ask you questions about the stock market. They'll ask you about the stock exchange. They'll be like, which is like the biggest exchange? What is Sensex? What is Nifty? You have to be able to answer any of that. If you're not
Okay.
able to answer that doesn't give like a good impression.
Okay. Great. So this next question by Nupur. Some general questions in interview for a non-sport person, like someone who does not have a sport background or who does not have, because most of your questions would have centered around your sporting career and how that added. Like for instance, I know a lot of students like you and even Aditya, like the previous achiever who came in, and Dia, and a lot of you who were asked, NMIMS interviews or KJ interviews or, your MDI or IM interviews where you were, since you had that background, you were questioned a lot about your sports
Mhm.
career.
Yeah.
What if, like, can you share some experiences from your friends or what you've heard of? If in case you don't have that on your profile, are most of the questions centered around your acads or work experience itself, or a lot of personality driven questions are also asked?
No, mostly when it comes to these kind of colleges, it's if you're a fresher, it's going to be very much based on academics, like what you've studied. Like if you're an engineering grad, they're going to ask you a lot of questions about that. If you're a commerce grad, they're going to ask you in detail because you're coming from an MBA where like you kind of already covered a lot of the concepts that they're going to cover in an MBA. So like
True.
your questions are going to be very, very academic based. Personality questions will be there, but it's mostly going to be along the lines of like, tell me about yourself, or like, tell me like a few fun facts about the city that you're from. Like that was a question that I was asked in the Trichy interview. And something that you have to keep up to date with is current affairs. They will definitely ask you about current affairs. So my Trichy interview was not, it wasn't too deep. They didn't go too much into detail about like current affairs or even my academics and stuff, but you still had to be like confident enough to answer those things. Like if they wanted to, they could have questioned me and I would have answered those questions, but you have to be knowledgeable enough to like answer those current affair questions.
Okay, that's really great. But one thing I have observed is it's always good to have something going on for you apart from your academics as well, so that you can sort of
Definitely.
navigate your interview down those lines as well, be it sports or be it, any like entrepreneurship or something that you've started on your own
Mhm.
or anything, to add that extra sort of a spark to your personality.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Definitely. Yeah.
Surajit, did music help you to be calm and positive? Okay, how did you stay motivated throughout? What keeps you calm and positive? And yes, could you share something about that?
Well, with my preparation, let's just say I was very, very, very anxious the entire time. It was not an easy path to go through because like you go through these phases of like, oh my god, am I actually going to be able to clear this exam? What if I have to do it again? It really gets in your head. Something that definitely did help me calm down was music. I would often take a lot of breaks to just like, listen to music and just calm myself down and have some chill time. Another thing I always made sure was to spend time with people that I loved, like my friends and my family. Always made time for them so that I could, just switch on my brain for a bit and just like relax. And my favorite raga. That's such a terrible question to ask me because I haven't sung in a very long time, but I would have to say Kalyani is my favorite ragam.
Okay, great. That answers your question, Surajit. Okay, the next question is, how is life at IIM Trichy?
I love
Is
it.
it
I am having an absolute ball of a time. So I am in the sports committee. I am in the literature club. I am having a lot of fun. I mean, compared to a lot of other IIMs, I would say this is a bit more, it's a pretty different experience because down south, the heat, people are not very used to it. The language barriers are there. There's a lot of factors that people are not used to. But for me, since I am from Chennai, and it's a pretty comfortable place for me to be in because the language is the same, the people are very nice to talk to, and there's a lot of diversity here. That's something I have to like comment on, because I didn't expect to see so much diversity, like so many people from like up north, like from the northeast, from Kashmir, random people just coming to this college down here in Tamil Nadu. So it was very unexpected for me to see all of the diversity, but I think it's a very enriching experience. Trichy is just, it's a lovely place. I love this campus.
okay? So you've been having online or offline? How is it like? How is it in like because of the pandemic? It's been online or offline?
So our first term was completely online, and after that, we were called to campus, and we've been having hybrid classes. Like we'd have half of our batch coming into classes offline, and half of our batch would be online. So that's been actually pretty interesting. Like I know we're all kind of tired, like all kind of like tired of online classes and stuff, but like going to those offline lectures, sitting in front of the professor and like having them like talk to us, interact with them on a personal level, it's been really, really fun. And I think I would definitely choose offline classes over online any time.
Of course, I mean, considering the experience that you've been having, that's really great. Um, yes, next question is from Pallavi. She's from a medical background. How does she prepare for an IIM, and what are the things to focus on in the interview?
Okay. So I think the first thing we have to remember is that getting into an IIM is definitely like a lovely dream to have, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get into it. Because there are so many other colleges which give you like the equal amount of opportunities. And when it comes to a medical background, I think there are a couple of dentists in my own batch who there isn't anything specific that you have to prepare for, like just because you're from a medical background. Just you have to be sure of your academics, what you've been doing since then, what kind of work you've been doing, and you have to be clear about why you want to go for an MBA right now. Because like once, I mean, for any Indian parent, like the doctor is like the end goal. Like you're like, that is it, that this is like the ideal child for me. So like, why are you coming for an MBA? You have to like be very clear about your reasons and like justify them.
Okay, that's great. Uh, okay, the next question is okay, wait. Right. Okay, the next question that I want to ask you is which were the other exams that you wrote along with CAT?
So along with CAT, I wrote ZAT and SNAP. Only those two I wrote. So
Okay,
in comparison, I would say that ZAT and SNAP were a lot easier to take, because CAT was the first exam that I had attempted in like that level, or like that kind of experience. So after attempting CAT, it was a lot easier to attempt ZAT and SNAP, especially SNAP, because I think SNAP was a pretty straightforward exam. It wasn't particularly difficult or like as intense as CAT was.
true. Okay, how has the environment changed there from freshers, work experience person to IIM? I didn't get your question specifically, Darklight. Could you like rephrase it? I mean, okay, probably it just wants to know how is it different? Like, how is an IIM experience different from? Okay, like one thing that a lot of students have about IIM is, do you have to like wake up in the middle of the night and are you called for classes, or that's one question, because I've had some students who've said that, like middle of the night, 12 or 1 o'clock, when we've said that, okay, you have a class now, or you have a quiz now. And have you had any such experiences? Can you tell us
We've
about
had
that?
a few meetings that have ran into midnight. Like they would start at 11:30 p.m. Like the first week of your MBA experience is going to be very, very, very brutal. You have to be really, really strong to get through that. But you have, like, I think as you start, like you get kind of acclimatized to the kind of culture here. Nobody sleeps. We are constantly awake. Sleep deprivation is just like these dark circles are just like ever present here. You can't do anything about them. You don't sleep here. You just have to constantly just keep working, running around, having fun. That is something that a lot of people forget to have here. It's like you have to have fun, even though you're in an MBA, working towards a career. This is like the last time you'll be a student. So you have to remember to have fun while you're also doing your assignments, your activities, all of your extracurricular work, and all of that.
Yes. So next question is also very interesting. It's kind of adding on to what you just answered. What are the activities in the clubs that you're a part of? Can you take us through the clubs that you have in your college, and which are the clubs that you're a part of, and what are your general activities in those clubs?
Mm-hmm. So my college has like a division of academic clubs and non-academic clubs. So the academic clubs would be the consulting club, the finance club, marketing, analytics. We have an operations club. We have all of these different kinds of divisions. And then in the non-academic, we would have the talent management club, the literature club. We have a social responsibility club. We even have a committee which works on, a representation, and like it's called PRISM. So it's called People Respecting Individuality and Sexuality in MBA. So they basically appeal for equal rights, feminism, LGBTQ rights, all of those. So I am a part of the sports committee. Of course, as an athlete, I have been, I've been quite involved with all of that. So the activities that I mainly look at in the sports committee would be, so we just kind of try to develop the sports culture in an MBA, because like keeping fit is something that we really don't do here, because like we don't really look after our health here. We eat like random meals. We'd be up till 3 a.m. working on an assignment. We'd be cooking like noodles or like eating something from the canteen. We'd skip breakfast and sleep until like 12 p.m. Our schedules are very off. So like making sure we make some time for fitness and like going to work out. We have a gym here on campus. We have a lot of like facilities like a badminton court, a basketball gym, and we also have TT, lawn tennis. We have all of that coming up. We even have like cricket and football ground. So as sports committee, we just kind of try to keep everybody engaged through all of our activities. We just completed a round of cricket league and a football league, where we actually had like an auction with our own like people from our own batches. We auctioned them off to like a bunch of owners who would buy them, bid for them and buy them, and then we had like matches. We had like a prize money, all of that. It was very, very interesting to have all these kind of events. And of course we have our intersection like games. We are having a lot of activities. We just try to keep our campus alive through all these activities. That is the main thing. And the other club that I'm part of is literature, which is the literature and quizzing club of IIMs. So there we just kind of we try to keep our interests, so we post like daily quizzes on Instagram to like keep people updated about like business related news, or like just quiz them about like their interests, pop culture, literature, books, movies, TV shows. That's something I'm very, very passionate about. So like I watch a lot of movies and TV shows. I'm a huge movie buff. So like this club is like perfect for me. We actually had like a couple of months ago, we had a Harry Potter quiz on campus.
Very interesting.
Very, very fun. So like so that is the kind of stuff that we engage in. And we actually have our cultural fest coming up in a few days, Dhruva. So like that's
I'm sure a lot of people are having a major FOMO, like sort of, the way you are so passionately talking about the college and, the fun that you're having and how the life that, I think this is a big motivation for all the students here itself, that, okay, they want to be a part of this, they want to do this as well. So that's really great. One interesting question that I have and I want to ask you is, how did you get into ice skating, especially considering India? It's not something that it's not a very popular sport, in India. So
I'm not an ice skater. I'm actually a roller skater.
Okay, so I got that wrong. Sorry. Okay, so how did you get into skating?
So I think I got my first pair of skates when I was maybe like 6 years old or something. I just got like a random pair of skates and I just like wear them and roll on them. I never went for like a formal training or anything. I just naturally came to me. And my parents thought I should like, be enrolled in some kind of physical activity. And I
Sure.
think one of my classmates from school was enrolled in this like class. So they were like, okay, like we can maybe like just like send her to this class as well. And I kind of maybe 6 months into that, I had my first competition. I won a medal and I've never looked back since then. It's just been an upward trajectory.
That's great. So now that you're studying at IIM Trichy, also you're participating in competitions or
No, I'm actually kind of retired from competition right now. I do keep in touch with the sport. Like we have like a small space here where I can like just like skate and like just like keep fit. But I'm not actively competing anymore because like of course an MBA is not that easy to like handle along with a sporting
yes.
career. So I didn't want to mix that. I've kind of decided that like that sport is going to be like it's in the past and I'm going to move on to the next phase of my life. So yeah,
Okay. But that's always going to be your passion.
of course, never going to forget that.
Okay, that's great. Okay, how important? Okay, I'm going to ask you this regarding your MBA, your CAT preparation, self-study versus enrolling in a batch. How important was, since I know that you told me that you undertook coaching for 1.5 years.
Mhm.
Right. So a lot of students, especially they think that, okay, they can do random preparation, they can pick up PDFs from here, or they can Google some videos out and they can learn the concepts and they can just sit with their books all day and prepare themselves. How does that really work for an examination like that? Or would you suggest that, yes, you have to undergo a structured preparation, at least for the classroom environment and for the guidance? Like which way would you advise the students to go?
Right. So for me, I needed to enroll myself because I knew that I wouldn't have the discipline to like sit and work by myself every day. Because I know that there are a lot of distractions out there. I mean, with like one phone is enough to like just get you like off track for like 3 hours.
True.
So I enrolled myself in the class because I knew that having that kind of structure, that kind of like let's just say fire under the ass would like kind of like motivate me to like have a structured plan to like work every day. So like I think that is probably the best way to go if you feel like you would not have the discipline to sit by yourself. But I think it really depends on each person's like comfort level.
Yes, okay. Next question is by Kapil. Kapil wants to know that how to be consistent with the preparation. Because a lot of them, start off early and by kind of 2 or 3 months they drop off, or when they don't see the results coming out in mocks, they get demotivated and they drop out. So how are you consistent and so disciplined with your preparation?
Hmm, I wouldn't say I was completely consistent. I think I did take a lot of breaks. There was a lot of things that I mean because I attempted my CAT in the year of COVID. So like there were a lot of things going on alongside the exam itself. So I
True.
wouldn't say that I was completely consistent, but what motivated me was that I had always wanted to get into an IIM and do an MBA since I was about 13, 14 years old. Like that was kind of like something that I don't know why it was just there in my head. It just was. So I was like, okay, MBA, I'm gonna go for it. So I
Yes.
think that wanting to make that dream a goal, like make or like to achieve that goal, that is what pushed me to like pick myself up and continue and to have that motivation, to have that desire to like achieve that goal is something that you have to have. Consistency can come and go, but as long as you have that passion, you have that desire, you can do anything.
So the answer to the question why an MBA needs to be very clear, not just for the interview, but in your head as well, in
Definitely.
order to make sure that consistency is there. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yes, so the questions are open. Guys, come on, post your questions. Yes, Dia, Kapil, Vicky, Surajit, Ishan, Pallavi, Darklight, Nupur. Come on, guys. I'm sure you've benefited a lot, and so far, any questions that you have that I can pose. Come on, everyone. on, guys? Because the students, these guys are just starting off with their preparation. So we're trying to, get them onto these sessions a lot so that, it motivates them. They don't drop off. They have the consistency. Okay, Ishan has a question. The role of college, open or regular college?
In what sense, open or regular?
Okay, so Ishan, I think, Ishan, I honestly didn't get your question. You mean to, okay, I'm going to phrase this question. Ishan, you can just tell me, ये आपका meaning था क्या? Are you talking about like regular college, जैसे आप BCom करते हो, like daily college जाके regular college करना, और आप correspondence? You're talking about regular versus correspondence in the admission process. That's what you're talking about. Yes. Okay. So I think, in the admission process, I think regular college would definitely have. What do you think, Sujanita? Regular college is of course preferred.
I would definitely prefer regular college. Like, again, like I mentioned before, I do not have the discipline to sit and study by myself. I need somebody to like push me and say, I have this assignments, you have this exam to study for. I need something to push me to study. So I would say that regular college is definitely helpful. Also, because when you're studying through correspondence, you're not really getting to interact with people and make those network connections. And I think that is really, really important. Like the kind of network that you create right now, or even in your UG, or like especially in MBA right now, that is going to like help you even 10 years, 20 years down the line. So you have to go to a regular college to have those experiences. So I would definitely say regular college.
Correct. So if you're talking about your UG, Ishan, I think regular college or correspondence, both would be okay as far as your grades are good, if it's at the UG level. But if you're talking about an MBA, I would definitely suggest you to go for a regular college rather than going for an MBA in correspondence, because MBA is something that you do for the exposure, you do for the platform, you do for networking, you do for building contacts, and you do it for getting the experience. So correct. And as Sujanita said, a regular college is always beneficial. Okay. What are your future goals from here on? This is a question by Surajit. What are your future goals? Like, where do you see us? Okay, this is a typical, sort of a question.
Definitely something you should know for like the interview and stuff, because they'll ask it is like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? It's a very, very obvious question. To be honest, I don't have an answer for that question. I don't know where I'm going to go. I know that I want to work in the finance domain, and that's all that I know so far. I'm still learning, I'm still experiencing, I'm still experimenting with the kind of, like, even within the finance domain, where I want to go, what I want to do. I haven't decided anything yet. So I have no future goals right now. I think I definitely want to get that corporate exposure, because of course I'm a fresher and I haven't experienced any of that. And I know that having that corporate exposure is going to make a huge difference to the kind of career that I will be able to build. So right now, I think my goal is to just start off a corporate career and see where it goes from there.
Great. Okay, next, Darklight has a question. In the interview process for a work experience person, do they focus more on the acads or work experience? They'll focus on your work experience.
Well, mostly the work experience. Whatever is like the latest in your resume, that is what they focus on.
Yeah. So the last thing is what they question you on first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How are the placements at IIM Trichy, and what is the average package that's offered?
Again, I'm not at liberty to discuss any of that. You can, of course, go check out
on the website.
On the website, we have all the details of like the companies and all of that. So yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's great. The next question that I want to ask you is a very common question that students say is, like when I speak to a lot of students, they say that when it comes to IIM, they think of Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, Lucknow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how exact? But a lot of students should understand that it's not always that. See, even if you get a 99 percentile, you may still not get a call from those. Okay, and at the same time, you have to. So how does a brand IIM figure in? And how would you say that an experience at, let's say, IIM Trichy, IIM Indore, IIM Shillong, these are comparable to the experience? I mean, that's a different league. I get it, but don't you feel that the exposure is still worth it?
See, when you compare Trichy to like Ahmedabad, Bangalore, or Calcutta, of course, they're in a completely different league. They are far more established IIMs. Trichy is only 11 years old at this point. It's still a fairly new IIM. But at the rate at which it is growing, I consider it is definitely going to be one of the top IIMs in the country in the years to come. Like I have seen the kind of growth that this college has had even in the 6 months that I've been here, and it's been phenomenal. The kind of students that they're getting, the kind of placements that I've seen. Of course, I can't tell you any details, but like it is, especially with the market being so good right now for like employment and things, I think definitely you shouldn't pass up an opportunity to go to any of the newer IIMs or any of the IIMs in the CAP league, because even though like Ahmedabad or any of them would have like a different kind of, they have a different league, Trichy, Ranchi, Raipur, Shillong, all of these still offer a very holistic experience. And I didn't want to pass it up. That's why I'm here, of course.
That's great. I know. Okay, thank you, Sujanita, for that. Ankit has a question. How to make quants strong?
Quants, to be honest, a lot of people would be like, you have to like work out the same question again and again and again until like you look mug it up or something. But that's not how it works. You just have to make sure that you understand the concept and you're able to apply it in any kind of situation, because you're not going to get the same questions that are available in like the Arun Sharma textbook or something like that. It's going to be very, very different. Like the kind of questions that they give you in CAT, you're going to be like kind of like spellbound for a bit. So just make sure that you're able to understand the concept and apply it in different situations. That's the only way to make your quant strong.
Okay, that's great. Rohit has a question. You've taken up the finance specialization, isn't it, Sujanita?
So actually, the MBA that I'm pursuing right now is a general management MBA. But the kind of electives that I choose in the second year will kind of determine the domain that I'm going into. So I would like to go into the finance domain.
Okay, great. How do you decide your specialization? Like, how did you zero in on finance? It was your interest prior, or once you came into?
It was my interest from before. So my bachelor's degree in commerce was with specialization in accounting and finance. So I've always had that, let's say, just that interest in finance, and I've always wanted to like pursue it. So that's why I chose finance. But a lot of people have come into this not knowing what they wanted to do, what kind of field they wanted to go into. It just kind of, they would see the kind of subjects that they get, because a lot of people who come into MBA are from not a commerce background, like a lot from engineering or like even like doctors. There's even like a bachelor of music, I think, in my batch. So like these people don't have any exposure to the kind of subjects that I like a commerce grad would have learned. So they come here, they understand what is like what these subjects are, and then they make a decision based on where their interests lie.
True. So that's it. Okay. Right. The next question is, what are the different specializations available at IIM Trichy?
So there are, I think, 5 to 6 domains that you can go into. There's of course the finance domain. You have the marketing domain, operations, decision analytics, human resource management, and general management. These are the main 6 that you can like specialize in.
Okay, great. Okay, so regarding your strategy, and I think percentile we've already discussed previously. What's your CAT? They want to know the CAT, your different scores.
Right. So I got a 94.3% overall in CAT. I don't remember the details of my like the section wise percentiles.
That and SNAP. I think you give that and SNAP as well, right?
Right. So my percentile in ZAT and SNAP both were around 92 percentiles. Both of those.
Okay, that's great. Right. Any more questions, guys? But by the way, I should mention this, Sujanita. Usually, the kind of like alumni we've had or the current students that we've had, they talk about studying, but I think you have given them like a different perspective to IIMs about the fun aspect and how you're really enjoying, and you can see that sort of, I would call that as an IIM glow on your face. Like the way you talk about it is very passionate about it. Yes. Okay. So any final questions? I think we've already ran a 1 hour session yet. Any final questions? Any final words of, let's say, advice that you have for them in terms of their preparation? Because they're starting out with, they're just starting off with it. So
right.
Any words that you have?
I think I would just like to remind you guys that, this exam is not the end of the world. It is simply the starting step. Like you are starting off here with just like this one exam, but from here you could go to a million different places. So do not stress too much about this exam. Just make sure that you are confident in your preparation and that you just don't freak out in the middle of the exam. That's it. I guess, yeah.
Right, that's really great. Um, how did online classes affect your experience?
Okay, so when it came
College.
to the, yeah, I did not like the online classes at all. Like even for the CAT preparation classes, they had to shift it to online, of course, because of the pandemic. And it was mostly like recorded lectures and stuff. I did not really enjoy that. I
Like
did,
recorded loses the appeal.
it really loses the appeal. I really preferred like having that
Live
interaction
class.
with the professor or the teacher so that I can learn from them. I don't like
True.
the recorded lectures at all. That is just a personal thing of mine.
True. So that's why, guys, I keep telling you attend live classes. That's always beneficial. How to attempt RC? What should be the strategy? Don't worry, faded, and even Abhinav. So Abhinav has a question: how to make your English strong? And that I think you also touched upon earlier that you need to have a strong reading background. And if you don't have that, Abhinav, just attend my classes. Just enroll soon and attend the classes and be a part of the sessions daily at 5 p.m. and that'll be sorted. Okay, so I guess if there are no more questions, I would like to thank everyone, Sujanita, on behalf of everyone.
Okay, can I
Uh,
just answer
sure,
Ishan's thing? He said that something about do or
sure. Go
die.
ahead.
I understand how it can get, with like the kind of pressure that you'd be facing from yourself, your parents, and everything. It was also do or die for me for a point of time. But now looking back at it, it really wasn't do or die. Like I've crossed that phase of my life, and I can tell you that there is so much more to life than this one exam, so much more that you would have no idea until you experience an MBA yourself. So do not stress too much. I know it's easier said than done, but just try to take it light. That's all.
Great, Sujanita. One last question the Dark Light has is the specialization, you have to select it in the second year. No.
Not necessarily. You can decide whatever you want. But the thing is,
No, but
okay, so
officially,
in Trichy, the structure is that we'll have a fixed set of core courses in the first year, and then in the second year we will get to choose electives or based on like the subjects that we want to study. So like
true.
in the first year, you just get like a base of all the different subjects. You get
True.
exposure to finance, marketing. You get an exposure to even operations, analytics. You get basically like a good base. After which you get to choose the kind of subjects that you want to study based on the domain that you want to go into.
Okay, so but that's because you're doing it in general management.
Right. Yes. So Trichy also has a specialized HR course, which
Yeah.
has like a very different kind of structure compared to the general management. So the HR course will obviously have more HR related subjects like in each term, and then the kind of electives that they're given are also very centered on HR. So it just depends on the MBA that you choose.
Okay, great. So great. Thank you so much, Sujanita. We had a great time having you here, and thank you so much for doing this and for sharing, your experience with the students. And I'm sure they'll remember you and they'll remember your words as well. So thank you so much for
Right.
coming.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all for your kind words. It really means a lot.
Great. So great having you once again. Thanks again, Sujanita. So you can log off, and I will take them through the general preparation sort
Sure.
of the
All right.
briefing.
Nice meeting you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you so much, Sujanita. Thanks a lot. Yes, so guys, that was Sujanita, and I'm sure you had a great experience listening to her. And thank you for participating in the session as well. We'll keep having more such sessions, guys. But see, as she said, also, it's very important to be a part of live classes. It's very important to interact with your educators. So, jaldi se subscription lo. What are you waiting for? And don't forget to apply the code Ritu MBA. Okay. So I will see you in our classes, guys. Doubts, pucho, upload karo, be more proactive. That's what all the achievers that have come in have told you, to be proactive. So please make sure that all of you are doing this. And Ask your doubts, be a part of our daily sessions. I anyway see you live daily at 5 p.m. Great, great, Rohit. Rohit, when are you coming on? That's the question that I want to ask. So, okay, so guys, please use the Ask It Out feature and don't forget to apply the code RITUMBA in order to get 10% off. Okay, so I will see you all soon. Okay, our next YouTube session will be in March now. Okay, so us time tak I'll see you in the special classes, guys. Tomorrow we have a test analysis special class at 12 as well. So make sure that you're a part of it. I will see all of you soon and take care, everyone. And don't forget to apply the code RITUMBA. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. Bye, guys.